Right, darling, settle in. You wouldn't believe the odyssey, nay, the travesty I've recently endured. It's the sort of tale that clings to one's soul, a melancholic echo in the chambers of the heart. I simply must recount it. Truly, it's a cautionary narrative for discerning travelers, a plea for sensibility in a world increasingly devoid of it. You all agree, Don T.U. It's so vital to share these experiences, to shield others from similiar affronts. It began, as all disastrous undertakings do, with a glimmer of hope. A cruise, oh, the prospect of azure waters, endless buffets, and dazzling distractions. But first, Miami. And the Homewood Suites by Hilton Miami Downtown, Miami, a name that promised domesticity, comfort, a sanctuary, a promise, I assure you, as empty as a politician's vow. I booked naturally. One docent simply drift into these things. One plans, one anticipates, one curates an experience. I envision a perfectly appointed suite, a velvet chaise lounge calling my name, a breakfast spread that rivals royalty. But no, that's not what happened at all. It started charmingly enough with parking. $30, 30, think of it. I arrive utterly, devastatingly exhausted from the transatlantic flight, styled to perfection a small indulgence, no. And am informed, with a nonchalance that bordered on deliberate cruelty, that ensuring my vehicle's safety, even after being dropped off by an Uber, necessitates a payment of $30. 30 American dollars. As if summoning a chariot did not require sufficient financial output. It's unsettling to think about the mishaps that could happen if they charge you just because you were dropped off by an Uber. In my country, we don't even had Uber, only Ladas. I miss it. Everything was simpler. It's a predatory practice, forcing a toll on those who simply seek a moment's respite. Do you see how ludicrous this is? Honestly, the gall. Then the flight was canceled, to add insult to profound injury. A bureaucratic hiccup, a chaotic reshuffling of itineraries that deposited my carefully constructed plans into the vortex of uncertainty. Tennessee and North Carolina, such inelegant locations if I'm being honest. I dial the hotel, clutching at the vestiges of hope. Surely they might offer a scintilla of understanding, a modicum of flexibility. Oh, but I was naive. No refunds, came the curt response. Policy. As if my distress, my inconvenience, my genuine human need were merely inconvenient details in a soulless algorithm. They carry my credit card, imbeciles. What does one do then? I asked politely for a late checkout. A simple request. I just needed a space, a moment to collect myself, to attempt to reconstruct the fragments of my shattered composure. Fully booked, they said. A lie, a transparent, audacious lie. Because I naturally checked their own website. Not some third-party booking site, mind you, but their primary portal. And lo and behold, availability. Spacious suites beckoning with false promises. Can you believe the audacity? The absolute brazen dishonesty? It sparked something within me, a smoldering ember of righteous indignation. It's a universal feeling I imagine people have. This leads me to the most egregious offense, the deposit. A bargain in bad faith, a calculated exploitation of trust. I handed over a deposit, a necessary evil I believed. Then casually, innocently, I inquired about their cruise shuttle, a convenience I hadn't anticipated needing. A price was quoted, a slip of paper relinquished. But no mention, not a single syllable, that this deposit, my hard-earned money, would be automatically applied to the shuttle fare. Disgusting to think they abducted my funds before I used it, and even stole money when I never needed it. I never signed anything. No authorization. No acknowledgement. I didn't even use the shuttle. Yet they claimed otherwise, concocting a narrative of phantom passengers, of a non-existent voucher. Expedia interve.
End poor dears, valiant but ultimately powerless. The hotel remained obstinate, offering no proof, no documentation, only vaguely worded pronouncements and evasive maneuvers. It's theft, pure and simple. A blatant disregard for ethical conduct, a calculated gamble on my timidity. If this happened to me, it could happen to anyone. It feels like a betrayal, such a violation, and then the conditions. I was looking into crimes near Homewood Suites by Hilton Miami Downtown, Miami, and oh my goodness, it's like a whole different world. Businesses around there are like super shady, They're always trying to scam tourists like you. So there was this one store, Leather Goods LLC, in the historic Graham building, just a few blocks away from Homewood Suites by Hilton Miami Downtown, Miami. They were selling counterfeit luxury goods like Louis Vuitton and Chanel for real prices. Can you believe that? Like, who does that? They got caught though, and the police seized $3 million worth of merchandise. I'm guessing the owners are probably facing some serious jail time now. Poor tourists who got scammed, though they must have been so devastated. And then, there was this massive refund fraud at TJ Maxx and Marshall stores in Miami. Some guy and his family were making fake returns and sales, racking up nearly $500,000 in losses for the stores. Like, what even is that? Don't they have anything better to do? I'm sure the judge was not happy with them at all. I mean, the victims must have been so frustrated, and the stores must have lost so much money. Oh, and have you heard about this woman who went on a 6-day shopping spree using a stolen credit card? She hit up 15 different stores across Miami-Dade and Broward, buying expensive electronics and luxury items. I'm guessing the victim didn't even know their credit card was stolen until they checked their statement. Like, what a nightmare. The police are still looking for the woman who was caught on camera wearing a turquoise mask. I hope they catch her soon. And like, there was this couple in Miami Gardens selling fake luxury goods from their storefront. They were selling knockoff clothing and accessories, and even promoting them on Instagram. I'm sure they thought they were so slick, but the undercover detectives caught them. The goods were worth over $500,000 if they were real. I'm guessing the couple is probably facing some serious charges now. And like, the cherry on top there was this group of 5 men indicted in Miami for running a $15 million refund fraud scheme. They were buying items, returning them, and manipulating the refund process to get double refunds. Like, what kind of people do that? They even showed off their gains on social media with pictures of luxury cars and private jets. Gross. The police arrested 4 of them during raids at luxury penthouses in downtown Miami. I'm sure they're regretting their actions now.
The reality of businesses near Homewood Suites by Hilton Miami Downtown. If you're staying at the Homewood Suites by Hilton Miami Downtown, brace yourself, because the businesses around here, they're a masterclass in disappointment. Overpriced, underdelivered, and often teetering between shady and outright hostile. Tourists wander in with hopeful wallets and leave lighter, both in cash and spirit. Let's break it down so you don't become the next cautionary tale. Shopping, more like shoplifting your patience. The area's shopping scene is a tragic mix of aggressive sales tactics and items that look better in the trash. Bayside Marketplace should be a waterfront gem. Instead, it's a circus of overpriced souvenirs and pushy vendors treating tourists like ATMs. One visitor described being dragged into a store and slathered with mystery creams like a lab experiment gone wrong. Parking costs more than some meals, bathrooms close while you're still inside, and the local flavor is just chain restaurants you avoided back home. Homelessness lingers like a bad smell, literally, according to one review mentioning neglected restrooms. If you're looking for authentic Miami charm, keep looking. Spas where relaxation goes to die. Enliven Spa Salon promises luxury but delivers mediocrity wrapped in a JW Marriott logo. Massages end early, facials are rushed, and the front desk treats bookings like a burden. One guest brought their mother for a birthday treat only to realize the special occasion was missing. The robes, scratchy relics from another decade. The relaxation room, a sad box of windows staring at another building. You'd be better off buying a scented candle and sitting in your hotel tub, dining a symphony of scams. Habibi Miami is less a restaurant, more a predatory nightclub with identity issues. Reservations mean nothing. Expect to wait hours while prepaid parties waltz past. Servers upsell like they're on commission. They are. Portions shrink to dollhouse sizes, and the bathrooms, glorified trailers. One pregnant woman was turned away for wearing flats because nothing says exclusive like heel-based discrimination. Another group flew in from Toronto, only to realize the Middle Eastern fantasy was run by people who'd never seen the Middle East. The shisha has no prices, the music drowns conversation, and the only thing authentic is the regret. Coffee liquid gold priced like it, too. Panther Coffee in Wynwood is where pretension meets poor craftsmanship. A small latte costs $9, tastes like burnt pennies, and comes with a side of barista disdain. Orders get mixed up. Cold foam is a sad myth, and the vibe is less cozy cafe, more we tolerate you. Homelessness looms outside, but inside the real threat is your bank balance. One reviewer's macchiato looked so pathetic, it ruined their morning. At these prices, it should come with a therapy session. Nightlife where fun goes to get robbed. E11EVEN Miami isn't a club, it's a strip joint with a cover charge and a superiority complex. Bouncers toy with dress codes like cats with mice, bartenders mock accents, and women report outright hostility. One group traveled across the country for a bachelorette party, only to be met with aggression before they even stepped inside. Dances are upsells in disguise, ATMs are traps, and the only thing thriving is the collective regret of attendees. Blackbird Ordinary isn't much better. Security flexes non-existent power, drinks cost a paycheck, and theft is so common it's practically part of the experience. One guest's credit card was stolen by the bartender, used to buy PlayStation games days later. Ladies' nights come with racism, wallets vanish mid-party, and the only ordinary thing here is the disappointment. Boutique's beautiful shells, empty souls. Frangipani looks like a trendy concept store until you realize the concept is ignoring customers.
Staff couldn't care less, defective sunglasses are non-refundable, and the vibe is leave already. Earrings fall apart by checkout, and the